Well, the GTA's housing market didn't perk up last month. That's despite the Bank of Canada's first of many anticipated rate cuts. Sales, in fact, month to month, were down nearly 16% here in the GTA. So let's break down the numbers even further. Toronto Regional Real Estate Board Chief Market Analyst Jason Mercer joins us, as you do on a regular basis, to talk about this. So, Jason, I know you're the number analyst, so you crunch numbers, but did it surprise you that 25 basis point tick down on the rate didn't really spur a little more sales last month?
No, I don't think so. One of the key drivers of growth in the housing market are first-time buyers. Mm-hmm. And so while on the one hand, we're seeing rents relatively high, and our polling suggests that there's a lot of would-be home buyers that are saying, look, if my rent goes up any further, I'm going to seriously take a look at purchasing a home. But on the other hand, they're also saying, we need to see 100, 200 basis points in relief in terms of borrowing costs before we move into the market. And so I think, certainly the Bank of Canada's cut last month, convinced a lot of people that we are going to see, lower mortgage rates ahead. But at the same time, a lot of these households need to see a little bit more relief before they move back.
Yeah, there was
market.
Kind of that sense that there was going to be this psychological sort of floodgates opening because suddenly the rates tick down. But clearly, as your numbers show, they need to tick down more. But let's do the comparison. What did last month's sales look like as compared to the year before? Just to give us that snapshot.
Yeah, I mean, total sales throughout the GTA, so looking at all home types, is down by about 16% in comparison to last year. And so, obviously, still seeing people sort of weighing their options, and even with home prices lower in comparison to what we saw, say, in 2021 and 2022, they're still fairly high from an affordability perspective, especially with the elevated borrowing costs. So once we start to see lower rates in the months ahead, I think you'll see a growing number of people moving off the sidelines and back into the market. Was
there, Jason, according to your numbers and analysis, a particular part of the GTA where things shifted more or less? I mean, was there an area that's like, okay, people were actually buying here rather than, maybe the smaller markets versus the bigger market?
It's interesting. I think when you drill down to the individual neighborhood level, you're still seeing, some cases where there'll be multiple offers on homes, and you're seeing in other neighborhoods where there's, more inventory that, home buyers are able to, negotiate better terms. And so it's really sort of different, when you look at a large metropolitan area like the GTA. But certainly, if you think about the sales trend, you think about the listings trend and break it down by home type, we're seeing a lot of similarities there.
So, Jason, what is your sense? What is it going to take from the Bank of Canada in terms of rate cuts to actually really spur more buyers to get back in?
Yeah, and again, I mean,
or get in initially.
And at the end of each year, I mean, we're asking people to look at what are your buying intentions for the year upcoming. And one of the things we found is that, number one, people are anticipating some sort of relief on the part of the Bank of Canada. But again, they're looking in that sort of 100 to 200 basis point range before a lot of these people are comfortable moving back into the marketplace, given the current price level. And so that really gets the discussion more into 2025, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, that, if they're doing it incrementally, they generally, the rates go down slower than they went up, because at one point there was sort of a big jump in rates. That could be a while. So what does that mean then for the overall market if we see that it's going to, take a 1% or 2% cut before it happens?
Yeah, I mean, assuming we see a couple more this year, we probably start to see a little bit more activity as we move into the fall market. But I think even more so, as we move towards the spring of 2025 is when we're going to start to see, a lot more activity.
Right. And of course, so much of this, Jason, comes down to supply. You talk about it a lot. Housing starts. We keep hearing that we're a little bit behind. Is there any encouraging number of signs on that side of the coin?
Yeah, and I think there's a couple interesting storylines when you look at supply. Number one, when we do start to see more people moving back into the marketplace, they're going to benefit from, quite a high level of inventory. And so initially, they're going to have that negotiating power. And so we won't see, an immediate, upward pressure on home prices. But I think moving forward, as we continue to see record levels of population growth, eventually that inventory is going to be absorbed. And if we haven't seen, home construction pick up to account for population growth, and we're going to get back into that vicious circle where market tighten, we start to see high single-digit, low double-digit price growth.
It's interesting, and I'm sure you hear this. Every couple of years, you look back and think, oh my gosh, if I could have bought that then compared to now, it would have seemed affordable. Yeah. Do you think that adage is holding true right now? That this price is going to seem reasonable if you look ahead 2 or 3 years, or is it's really going to come down to what those rates do?
I think definitely, the rate situation right now is still front and center for a lot of would-be home buyers and existing homeowners that might be thinking about, moving around in the market. I think right now for a lot of these people, they really want to make a move or move into the market for the first time, but, given the affordability where it is right now, it doesn't make sense for a lot of them.
Jason, appreciate this. As always, good to chat with you. Thanks so much.